Hey everyone, welcome back. It's great to be deep diving with you again.
Huh.
We talk a lot about stress relief on the show, and a lot of you have been reaching out asking about journaling, specifically about Stallion Journals. And I gotta say, I get it. My cousin actually, she was going through a really rough time a while back, just totally swamped with work and family drama, and she just could never seem to relax.
Oh, yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, and she'd tried everything, meditation, yoga, you name it, but her mind would just keep racing.
Hmm.
And then she stumbled upon journaling, and it was like this huge weight lifted off her shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, she still had the same problems, but she was handling them so much better.
That's really interesting because, a lot of people think journaling is just about like venting or complaining, but it's so much more than that.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
For sure. I've got to admit, I used to think it was all a little bit, woo-woo.
Mm.
But then I started looking into the research, and I was really surprised.
Yeah, there's actually a ton of scientific evidence showing that expressive writing can really help reduce stress. Yeah, it all comes down to cortisol, that
Mm.
hormone our bodies release when we're stressed.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of cortisol.
Well, when we write about our stressful experiences, it actually helps our brains process those emotions, and that can lead to lower cortisol levels.
Wow. So it's not just about feeling better, it's actually changing our brain chemistry.
Exactly. And when those cortisol levels go down, we sleep better, our mood improves, and even our immune system gets a
So
boost.
it's like a win-win-win.
Absolutely. Now, Stallion, they really get this connection between journaling and stress relief.
Yeah, I've always loved their journals. I mean, they're just so beautiful. But I never really thought about the specific features that might make them especially good for stress relief.
Oh, they've thought of everything, like their paper, it's super thick, so you don't have to worry about ink bleeding through, which can be really frustrating, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I hate when that happens.
Right. And the covers, they use this really nice faux leather that just feels so good in your hands.
It's like a little bit of luxury in your everyday life.
Yeah. Exactly. And then there are the line pages. Some people prefer blank pages, but for me, the lines just give me a sense of structure and help me organize my thoughts.
Me too. I'm definitely a lined pages person.
And Stallion, they even have built-in tables of contents and numbered pages so you can easily find old entries and track your progress over time.
That's so smart. I never would have thought of that, but it makes total sense.
It's all about creating a positive journaling experience so you're more likely to stick with it.
Yeah, that's key because it's the consistency that really makes the difference.
Exactly.
And speaking of consistency, I was reading on their website about this woman. She was dealing with a lot of anxiety because of her job, just totally overwhelmed. And she had tried everything to calm down, but nothing was working. And then,
Uh-oh, what happened?
well, she found this old Stallion journal she had tucked away and decided to give journaling a try.
Wow, I love those stories where people rediscover something they thought they'd forgotten about.
Right. And for her, it's like a total game changer. Just the act of writing down her thoughts and feelings helped her process everything and start to feel more in control.
It's amazing how powerful that can be just to get it all out of your head and onto paper.
For sure. And what's really cool is that she started using some of the specific techniques Stallion recommends for stress relief, like gratitude prompts.
Oh, yeah, gratitude prompts. Those are awesome.
Yeah, she started every day by listing 5 things she was grateful for, even if it was just something small like a sunny day or a good cup of coffee.
It's so easy to get caught up in the negative, but when you intentionally focus on the positive, it can really shift your whole perspective.
Absolutely. And she also started tracking her triggers.
Yeah.
Those things that would consistently set off her anxiety.
Oh, that's a good one. Because once you know what your triggers are, you can start to develop strategies for dealing with them.
Exactly. Like if she knew that traffic always made her anxious, she could try listening to calming music or leaving a little earlier to avoid rush hour.
Right. It's all about taking back control.
And she said that after a few weeks of consistent journaling, she just felt so much better, less anxious, more resilient, like she could handle whatever life threw at her.
It's so inspiring to hear stories like that because it shows that journaling really can make a difference.
It really can.
Mm.
And it's not just for people who are going through major challenges. Anyone can benefit from taking a few minutes each day to reflect and connect with themselves.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need any special training or fancy equipment.
Yeah, just a pen and paper or a beautiful Stallion journal if you're feeling fancy.
Exactly. It's the simple things in life that can often be the most powerful.
I totally agree. It's funny just listening to you talk about it. I'm remembering how much journaling helped me back in college. I had this really intense course load, and I was feeling so overwhelmed, and I started keeping a journal just to kind of vent my frustrations, and it was amazing how much lighter it made me feel.
Yeah, it's like a pressure valve, you know?
Exactly, and I haven't really journaled consistently since then, but hearing all this about the science and the benefits, and especially with these gorgeous Stallion journals, I'm feeling really inspired to pick it up again.
I think you should. I mean, there's just something so special about a Stallion journal. The quality, the craftsmanship, it just elevates the whole experience, you know?
Oh, totally. And I love that they have a whole section on their website called Success Stories, where people share how journaling has helped them with all sorts of things.
Yeah, those are really powerful, you know, because sometimes it's hard to believe that something as simple as writing can actually make a difference. But then you read those stories and you see how it's transformed people's lives.
Exactly. I remember reading one about this woman who was terrified of public speaking. I mean, like panic attacks, sweating, heart racing, the whole 9 yards.
Oh man, I know that feeling.
And she started journaling as a way to kind of work through her fear. And she would write about her experiences and her negative thoughts. And eventually she started using her journal to reframe those thoughts and visualize herself succeeding.
That's a great technique, visualization. It's like mental rehearsal for your brain, you know?
Yeah. And she said it really helped her to feel more confident and prepared. And eventually she was able to give presentations without feeling terrified.
It's amazing how our minds can work for us or against us.
For sure. And it's like those stories give you permission to try new things. You know, like I never would have thought about using journaling for public speaking, but now I'm like, maybe that could work for me too.
Right. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
And, it's not just about overcoming big challenges either. It can be just as helpful for those everyday stressors, the little things that add up and wear you down.
Oh, absolutely. Like when you're feeling stuck in a rut or you're just having a bad day, journaling can be a great way to shift your perspective.
Yeah, my grandma, she used to swear by gratitude journaling. She started doing it when she was in her 50s, and she said it completely changed her outlook on life.
I bet it do. You know, there's actually a lot of research showing that practicing gratitude can have some pretty amazing benefits. It can boost your mood, improve your sleep, and even strengthen your immune system.
Curse. Wow. I had no idea it was that powerful.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And it makes sense. You know, when you're focused on the good things in your life, it's harder to get bogged down by the negative.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So we've talked about expressive writing, gratitude prompts, trigger tracking. Are there any other techniques people use for stress relief journaling?
Oh, yeah, tons of them. You know, some people like to use their journal as a brainstorming tool to work through problems or come up with new ideas. Others use it for creative writing, like poetry or song lyrics, or even just doodling.
I love that it's like your journal can be anything you want it to be.
Exactly. It's your own personal space to explore and express yourself however you like.
And that freedom of expression can be really stress relieving in itself.
Absolutely. It's like giving yourself permission to play and to be creative and to just let go of all the rules and expectations.
Do you journal?
I do, yeah. I find it really helpful for processing my emotions and clarifying my thoughts and just staying grounded. You know, I really like doing morning pages.
Morning pages. What's that?
So it's basically you just write 3 pages of stream of consciousness, whatever's in your head first thing in the morning.
Wow, 3 pages. That's impressive.
It's a great way to clear out all the mental clutter and start the day with a fresh perspective, you know?
I love it. So for someone who's new to journaling or maybe feeling a little intimidated by the whole thing, what advice would you give them?
I would say just start. Don't worry about doing it perfectly or writing something profound. Just get your thoughts down on paper, you know?
It's like giving yourself permission to be messy.
Yeah, exactly. Your journal is for you and no one else, so you don't have to worry about judgment or criticism.
And it doesn't have to be a huge time commitment either. Even just 5 or 10 minutes a day could make a difference.
Absolutely. Just start small and be consistent and see where it takes you.
So finding the right journal is important then.
I think so. Yeah, it can really enhance the whole experience. You want a journal that feels good to hold, that inspires you to write, that reflects your personal style.
That's so true. And that's one of the things I love about Stallion. They have such a wide variety of styles and designs. There's literally something for everyone.
And the quality is just exceptional. You know, the paper, the covers, they really put a lot of care into their product.
Like they're not just making journals, they're creating an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a ritual, a companion, a tool for self-discovery.
I love that, I'm thinking back to those success stories on their website. And I remember one from this guy who was going through a really tough time after his dad passed away.
Oh, wow. That's a heavy one.
Yeah, he was really struggling with grief and loss. And he said that journaling helped him to process his emotions, to find meaning in his pain, and to eventually start healing.
Journaling can be such a powerful tool for working through grief.
Hmm.
It gives you a safe space to express all those raw emotions that you might not feel comfortable sharing with anyone else.
It's like having a conversation with yourself.
Exactly. And sometimes that's exactly what we need, to just sit down and have an honest conversation with our own hearts and minds.
And to remember that we're not alone in our struggles.
Yeah,
That other people have been through similar things and come out the other side.
that's so important to remember.
It's like journaling gives us a way to connect with ourselves and with others and to find strength and resilience even in the darkest of times.
Beautifully said.
It's really amazing. You know, as we've been talking about all this, I've been thinking about how it's not just the writing itself that's important, but also the whole ritual of journaling.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the ritual can be incredibly powerful, like choosing a special pen, finding a quiet spot, maybe lighting a candle. It all helps to create this sense of intention and sacred space.
It's like giving yourself permission to slow down and really tune into yourself.
Exactly, and that's so important in our busy modern lives. We're constantly bombarded with stimuli and demands, and it's so easy to lose touch with our inner world.
And speaking of intention, Stallion, they really emphasize the importance of consistency, making journaling a daily habit.
Consistency is key with any practice, but especially with journaling. It's like building a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets.
So it's not just about dealing with stress in the moment, it's about developing this long-term resilience.
Exactly. It's like building up a reserve of inner strength that you can draw on whenever you need it.
I love that. And it makes me think about how journaling can be a tool for personal growth, not just stress relief.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
By writing about our experiences and our thoughts and our feelings, we start to see patterns emerge and we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves.
It's like we become our own therapists in a way.
Ah, in a way. Yeah. And that self-awareness is so crucial for making positive changes in our lives.
Because once you know what's going on inside, you can start to address it.
Exactly. It's like shining a light into the dark corners of our minds.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into stress relief journaling and Stallion Journals, what's one key takeaway you hope our listeners will remember?
I would say the most important thing is to just give it a try.
So
Don't overthink it. Don't worry about doing it right. Just start writing and see where it takes you.
that's such great advice. And, if a beautiful Stallion journal inspires you to get started, then even better.
Totally. And remember, even a few minutes a day can make a world of difference.
So true. Well, it's been a fascinating conversation. I've learned so much, and I'm definitely feeling inspired to start journaling again myself.
I'm so glad to hear that, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired too.
Me too. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into stress relief journaling. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep taking care of yourselves.